Right then, we've talked about 2023, so now it's time to discuss what we are most looking forward to in 2024. Let's swing back to Paddy again to start us off here. Paddy, take us through your what you're most excited for in 2024, mate.
So, 2023 has been the year where Sergeant Slaughter has done his biggest heel turn since 1991 and just started leaking stuff that he hears from Hasbro. It's amazing. He shows up at a con and he tells 2 days after the Hasbro team start working on a triple T transformer, he tells everybody at the con there's going to be a triple T transformer. This is before the Soundwave had been revealed.
Can I just say in that it's always funny when the Sarge reveals something, and he's done this 3 times in recent years with G.I. Joe. He's done it with a Funko release. He's done it with his classified figure, and he's done it with the Triple T crossover. And every single time in the comments, it's like, I don't believe it's going to happen. And it's like, could you have a more reliable source than an old man who's working on this directly and just forgetting that he shouldn't be talking about it? Is there a more reliable source on Earth? I don't think so. So just trust the information coming out, guys.
He's 3 for 3 so far.
He actually told me personally what I said. I originally when I worked on the classified box, I said to him, the reason that I knew to contact Hasbro to ask about this was because you had brought it up, in a signing. And I said, I don't know if you meant to do that. A lot of people thought you were confused about WWE and Mattel. And he said, no, I absolutely meant to do that. I wanted to get people excited about it.
So amazing. So amazing.
So he dropped the whole triple T transformer before Soundwave was revealed. And then obviously Soundwave has come out and it references the Marauders on Soundwave's packaging. And then just this last few weeks, the Sarge was at a con and showed somebody the concept art for the Cup Transformer.
Unbelievable.
So I cannot wait for 2024 and see what he leaks this time. I think by Joe Fest in June, that man will have told us what's coming in 2025.
We'll have the we'll have the whole Sergeant Slaughter line plan, won't we, for the next 10 years? That's fantastic. So you excited for more of those.
Continue doing God's work, Sarge, and letting us know what's coming 18 months out before the design team have even started working on it. I'm listening close to any event that the Sarge is at. I'm like the ear is to the ground when he's there, just because.
Yeah, the other thing I love about him is that I feel like he implants a psychic motivator. Like I've seen other signings where he's like, and I told them, the next figure they make of me, it needs to come with a saluting hand. And so I'm like, that's coming.
I know, you got to read between the lines, haven't you, on him? It's amazing. Or you don't not even read between the lines, just read what he says, because it's pretty much exactly what's going to happen. Amazing stuff there. So you're looking forward to more of the Sarge kind of
more of the Sarge just leaking left, right,
slip
and
ups.
It's going to be great.
Leaking Sarge, amazing. Pat,
this is for 2023, and this is for 2024, and this is for 2025.
This is for Action Force. Amazing. Right now, Pat and Adam have actually got the same thing on their list, so you're going to have to do some sort of combined discussion on this, guys, and that is...
What side is Pat on? Are we get a fist bump? How's this working?
I don't know. I haven't decided where you're at yet, so if you just do the fist bump now, I'll work that out after the fact. There you go. Done. Brady Bunch. Perfect. So I suppose who wants to take this to begin with? Who wants to start this off? Pat? Let's start with Pat. Adam can wait.
Okay. I will transition by saying that we could just segue from Patty's, and maybe there would be Super 7 revealing, or Sergeant Slaughter revealing like a Slaughter limousine in camo. That's what I would want to see. Because there's an O-ring line coming out, and that would be a cool, crazy thing for them to make. But no, what we're talking about is just the O-ring line in general. That's what I would like. That's what I'm looking forward to by far. return of O-rings. It's kind of what I've been waiting for years, is an O-ring line that's kind of free from the need to cater to all of what the current wants. Like, it just needs to make sure that it has enough of the core characters on a regular basis to stay in target. But beyond that, we're going to get crazy stuff, I think. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
I think you're just only going to get crazy stuff, which is pretty cool. Or at least variations on the themes that you do expect.
Yeah.
Adam, what about yourself, mate? What about the O-ring is most appealing to you?
Oh, man, we could be here for the next 2 hours. I guess the first kind of question that I have in my mind is, we all have our various collector OCD. We all are, completionists to some degree in certain categories. At least from what Sergeant Slaughter tells us, it appears that Hasbro is intending to still make O-ring figures as part of the Transformer crossover sets, simultaneous to Super 7 making O-ring figures. So I guess my first question is compatibility. Are they going to be identical in build? Is Hasbro assisting Super 7? How is this all going to work? I guess, in a perfect world, I want my O-ring figures to feel like they, stepped off the pegs of 1994 and we're just picking up right where we left off. So I'll be very curious to see construction-wise how these compare to the Hasbro released O-ring figures. And while we're talking about O-ring, unfortunately, I don't know the status of this guy or his friend over there that I can't show because it wasn't revealed. But I did packaging art for the 2 figures that were supposed to come with the Super 7 mothership. So I hope that we'll still see those getting the light of day, because obviously,
I'd be surprised if they didn't do them, honestly. I'd be really surprised if we didn't see them in the future for the O-ring line.
Yeah.
They've already paid. They've already paid you, so they're gonna have to get their money's worth.
There's some costs there to have to recover. Yeah.
So many. They're gonna have to sell billions to recoup the cost of paying Adam Riches for that work.
I just take it. It's just a cycle. I just take their money and then give it back to Hasbro, who then gives it to them. Who then it's just I'm just in the middle of it. It's like an ecosystem. One feeds me, I give it back to them. The other feeds me, I give it back to them.
One thing I would say, though, I think to Pat's point of the coming out of Pat's point with that variation thing, I think the reason Hasbro can do their figures and Super 7 can do theirs is because there's going to be there's going to be a big difference between what they're both supplying. Like the Hasbro side of things are going to be your classic reissues of figures that we've had so many times before. Not necessarily, we haven't had loads of Leathernecks, but there's one that's come in. Sarge, we've had a couple of Sarges, but we haven't had many reissued Sarges in the O-ring line. But in terms of General Hawk, there's another one we've got on the horizon. If you take the leaks from this last week on board with the Prime Mobat, so they're going to be just doing your classic figures as we know them from the O-ring line of the past. Super 7, I think, are going to be doing the style, but they're going to be doing... we've seen a bunch of listings for them. We've seen a cartoon Duke, so I imagine a different head sculpt there, and certainly probably a different deco ever so slightly. Ramar is going to be a different size. The thing's huge, so he's going to be bigger than Duke, I imagine. And then you've got Covergirl with blonde hair. We haven't had that in O-ring. And you've got what was the other one?
Snake Eyes.
With the
Snake Eyes,
probably right? With the tattoo on show, right? The ripped sleeve sort of scenario, I'd imagine.
Do you think Ramar's going to look like this? I hope so.
I hope he has wobbly spanners like that as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to assume is going to happen with that leaked list that I'm still kind of waiting to see, because people don't really notice that Destro is actually on a larger buck than some of the other figures. And I do agree with you. I think that whenever they come to make Raymar, he's going to be significantly larger than the others.
I think Super 7 will definitely do that. They'll go that route rather than I think you're right. Old school Hasbro Road Pig or something. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know how Road Pig was on a slightly bigger, but he's not so much bigger than the rest of the figures,
Yeah, I agree. But in some ways that makes me look forward to that figure, because it kind of frees me from feeling like they're going to to even try for all of the things that I'm looking for. Like Adam was saying, we all have like our specifics that we're looking for, and it's a huge rabbit hole with me if I start to talk about all the things I'm specifically looking for. But I don't know. Like you said, a new head sculpt for Duke. Probably, but I don't think is that a given? Did they say that they were doing a new
Oh no,
head
well
sculpt?
then this is all leaked information, but from my assumption, the fact that the original figure looks nothing like the cartoon model of Duke would insinuate to me that you're probably going to get some sort of redone head sculpt for that figure. And to be honest, the fact that Ramar's come in that line, I wouldn't be surprised if Duke had the headband and it was like it was like not like a 2-pack, but like a, you know, they're in the same wave and they're, you know,
you could do a versus with them.
Yeah, kind of like a complementary kind of pair in the same wave sort of thing. Maybe even like a, you know, alternate heads in the package. I don't know if they do something like that and try and like up the tech a little bit, which I know probably wouldn't be something that appealed to you guys, because I know you like to keep it like you want them to be made like, you know, on those medieval shows where they go into like they only use the tools that they used in like the 1620s, and like you're not allowed to do anything other than light a fire using a stick with a bit of string. Like that's all you're allowed to do. That's as techie as it gets.
I mean, there are concessions that are going to be made. I know these will be 3D sculpted. I know that the hands will be PVC and they'll be soft and pliable. Like, you know, I mean, we foresee some of that stuff. What I hope we don't get is like in the 2000s, a lot of the skin tones had that very like translucent, milky look to them.
Yeah, that was bad.
Or like the heads were too small. Like O-ring is a very specific aesthetic, and I feel like they got to get it right. Like that's the key, because honestly, reaction and O-ring from an aesthetic standpoint, when you're looking at them on pegs from a distance, are not that different, you know? So like to really separate this from what they've done, they've got to nail it, you know? And I know that there's going to be production differences because it's 30 years later, but I still think there's enough of the hallmarks they can hit on to get it right.
It's actually 40 years later, Adam. I just wanted to put it there.
Oh,
we're all older than you think.
Yeah. You know, like step one, they could hire the reincarnation of Hector Garrido, me. But yeah, I don't know. Like, Pat, do you want to talk about some of the specific figures we'd like to see offered? Because I definitely have a handful that are coming to mind right off the top of the head.
Yeah, I'll even branch it off of, for me, I'll branch it off of one of the ones that we know is coming, which is CoverGirl. You know, if they're going to do blonde CoverGirl, obviously she's going to need to have her, at least I would assume she's going to have long hair. And I was just looking at the existing Super 7 reaction blonde CoverGirl, and I don't think that head is going to look right on an O-ring body. And then thinking about the build of the figure, like the blonde CoverGirl does have, at least the design in the show is the same sculpt, or it should be, as the body of the CoverGirl that came out. It's just green. So what I'm hoping that we get is for them to even just scan in the existing figures and then do minor recolors. Like we've talked a bazillion times about Tiger Force. I would love to have like a Tiger Force Torpedo, Tiger Force Wild Bill, do a bunch of them, but don't change up the sculpt. There's no need for them to hire a sculptor. I just want the figure as it originally looked in the colors that were originally planned.
I am very curious about how all that's going to work, because my thinking is they're probably going to start from the ground up and do all new tooling on these. But I agree with you. Like, I mean, if it ain't broke, right? Like, I'd love to see some of these just be direct recasts and just tweak the stuff that they're going to change.
The only thing for me that I think they need to really update or improve are and this works quite well with your "if it ain't broke" comment, are things like groins and friggin' and hands. Like as long as like you're not having those classic breakable elements, and that is a simple thing that doesn't necessarily have to affect the aesthetic of the figure at all, really. But I could see, I'm totally in agreement with you guys. They're going to be doing this from the ground up. They're not going to be, they're going to be, they're going to be doing it from scratch, is what I'm saying. Like there's a possibility they might scan some stuff in, but I don't know. Like it feels like that isn't their style. They haven't shown that that's something they would necessarily have done in the past. Not mainly because of that. Well, what would they do that would be
the start of the reaction line.
Aliens.
Of the alien figures.
Yeah.
That's how it all started.
Oh, right. I see what you mean. Sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm thinking specifically G.I. Joe, so I get what you're saying. Cool. Okay. So
that's the only instance of that I can think of. But
you are right, though. That is the only instance.
But, I mean, so this is a good segue for some stuff I definitely want. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, we know for sure that, like, FEPs exist of these, but, like, I want Ninja Commandos. There is stuff that's out there that was very close to release that didn't happen, and that includes core characters like Storm Shadow, Flint, Road Pig to a lesser extent. Like,
Knockout.
If those are out there and they can get access to them, I mean, I don't want to like take away what's special about the originals. I would be happy with them changing them to some extent, but like just to finally have those out there in official form after all these years, I think would be super cool. Additionally, like we talked about earlier with the Sky Striker, like the group we lovingly refer to as Ketchup and Mustard, the flight deck crew, like those are already sculpted. We know that they exist. Hasbro did it. So, why not put them into production? I mean, this gives them the opportunity to do a lot of that stuff and kind of, I know because they tend to lean into this stuff and try to get into those deep minutia cuts for fans. Like, this is the perfect avenue to give us some of these things that we've thought about for many, many years. Obviously, we get, there's easy repaints with adding the sub teams and stuff, but like, there's a lot of sort of legendary stuff out there. The Battle Corps Rangers that, if somebody was willing to let them scan their originals, like it could easily happen now.
The thing with that though, it would make more sense for them as a company to work with the materials that are easily available, wouldn't it? And then like create their own. Do you know what I'm saying? Like rather than source that kind of material.
I don't know. I think that there's personally, I kind of think that they could get into that because, again, not to hinge too much upon those initial alien ideas, but that is how Reaction started, was with canceled stuff. So I don't really think that it's a foregone conclusion that they couldn't go back and use those things, because I think that would be something special to a lot of people. Now, it's a tough thing, though, because if you look at like Ninja Commandos...
All the people who've got Ninja Commando sets are going to be pissed off, aren't they? If they're almost exact replicas of what they have for like $4,000 less.
Yeah. For how much? Well...
Sorry, $40,000 less.
It depends on who you were whenever those were hitting, I suppose. But imagine that they put out Ninja Commandos Storm Shadow, or they put out Battle Corps Rangers Flint.
Baroness.
Those aren't necessarily the appearances of those characters that are going to be easily identifiable. So I think that if they lead with that, that's going to be something that a lot of people just wandering through Target, they're going to go, huh? But if they get the line going and get some momentum and put those in, then I think that it'll be a lot more clear to people that that was just a kind of one-off special thing they may not have been aware of. That it'll just be a lot easier to put that stuff in later. It's
the sort of thing that you could get away with doing maybe one figure a wave of it. But you are their operating model is they need to have a named, known character on the shelves of Target all the time. So you could possibly do a split wave where there's one or two of those in there with a Duke or a Scarlet or a Baroness.
Yeah, I think we spoke about this in the group as well. Like, I feel like they would never do all of the Ninja Commandos at once anyway, like unless there was some sort of special SDCC set or something. But even then, I doubt it would happen. But I could see them drop in, the odd one here or there, like Paddy just mentioned, in waves in the future, like randomly. But what they do have, an advantage they do have in order to get some of the core characters in there, is they've got the cartoon, which is their meat and drink, and the fact that they can kind of go, oh, let's just throw Boy George Snake Eyes in this wave. That's Snake Eyes covered. It's actually quite iconic, weirdly enough, and that would be one that sold really well. And then you'd also in that wave have your Night Force Downtown, or your Tiger Force Hydro Viper. I was trying to get as ridiculous as possible, and that's all I could come up with. But
that's all you can come up with.
So yeah, like that's where I see them going. I see them doing the core characters in these weird variations. Duke with the headband for his fight against Ramar, Cobra Commander is like, maybe his battle armor, because that ain't been touched for ages. Do you know what I mean? And that would be like you could say the comic Cobra Commander or the Deke Cobra Commander or what have you. You could even have a removable helmet, and you could have the kind of snakish kind of head under there, like the Deke cartoon.
Or do a Fred head.
Yeah, absolutely, like the Crimson Guard style. Yeah, 100%.
Or it could be like the Deke episode where he had the rubber mask and then he peeled it off and somehow had the entire metal battle armor Cobra Commander head under it.
The classic disguise, yeah. When Zartan takes off that guy's mask and he's got his hood, he's got a breather on. Baroness does the same thing. She's got a breather on, all her hair, the glasses are on. It's like, what have you been? How? What are these masks you're wearing? Unbelievable. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see those sort of things showing up in the Super 7 series, like kind of quirky disguised Zartan, and Zartan's head, but on that kind of general's body sort of scenario, that kind of stuff.
One thing I am really worried about with Super 7 is they love their repaints. And, I really hope we don't see what was happening with O-Ring, where you get like 5 of the same figure, but they each come with a different gun or something, because that's going to kill me.
The reaction. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But there are instances, though, where I actually think this could be very beneficial. So, like, I'm going to give you probably my number one most wanted O-Ring figure is Pythona. I think they could do a cartoon Deco Pythona. They could do one that looks more like a classic O-Ring, because I think there is going to be a difference there. I between like matte paint or cell shading or whatever, I hope they don't do. But, and then also, I don't know what it's called for you. It might have just been like Action Force Monthly, but European Missions here. Pythona appears in that, and she's yellow.
Yep,
that's right. Yeah,
that was the
that
was the prequel to the movie issue. That was, they kind of put that in there to kind of catch kids up to speed in the UK as to what was going on in the film, the Action Force movie.
When the film was coming out on home video, yeah.
Because there's obviously that kind of lead in from the cartoon series that we weren't privy to, if you know what I mean. So we had that issue done specially, and they painted it yellow, which is amazing.
So like if they want to get into deep cuts like that, like there's a lot of really cool stuff they can do. I mean, I hope, like, didn't we say that Reaction was already up to like, was it 100 figures now or close to it?
76 is what Brian said on the.
Well, I think that he was. I think that he was counting it a little low, to be honest. I think it's more than that. I think it is over.
Because he was counting the variations as one figure.
Right.
The sailors, for example, he was counting them as one, because for them they were one SKU.
There were 9 of them as well, weren't there? Of the sailors.
But he was but it's one figure. Yeah.
So say that ballpark around 100 unique offerings already, in what was that, like a 3-year span? I mean, that's basically keeping on pace with Classified. So this is going to be like a gift and a curse. Because
you want O-rings, you're gonna get O-rings.
Get ready to drop $2,000 on O-rings next year, guys.
And maybe we could just work out a scenario where they trade me toys for work, and then I'll just figure out how to beg for food somehow.
What were you going to say, Pat? Were you going to say the amount? Did you work it out?
Yeah, the last thing I have is the G.I. Joe with a face mask. The pilot is the last one that I've logged on my list of them, and that was figure number 123.
Whoa!
Yeah, and then we've got those listings as well for the next few waves that are coming as well.
That's right. I haven't actually gone onto my own spreadsheet and added all that in, so it's beyond 125 figures in the Reaction line for sure.
Man, they've churned them out. That's crazy. I mean, I don't think it's going to be as many as that. They're not going to be able to make that many O-Ring figures at the same rapid pace that they can make Reaction figures, right?
Oh, I don't know. I think that I'll be disappointed if we don't get there. I mean, there are a lot of repaint potentials. There's also like minor shared tooling potential, because even Pythona, there's just the female citizen of Cobra Law. And yeah, that might be a peg warmer if you put it at Target, but if you were to put Pythona separately and then you did a multi-pack for Cobra Law and included that figure in there, and that was maybe the only way that you could get a new. Are you guys
happy that it's sort of worked out a little bit, that we'll probably be getting movie-related product for the O-Ring line as opposed to the Reaction line?
Happy isn't even the word.
Yeah.
The jubilant,
fully erect.
Orgasmic.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, the number one item all time that I probably want at this point in all of G.I. Joe is the broadcast energy transmitter, because at least we have a Pythona in some form. So
what if it's a Transformer crossover?
Oh God, come on, Pat! Are you trying to kill the mood? Anyway,
Pat, who would it be?
The BET. Yeah, that works.
Blaster BT. Oh man, that's dope. That is
unless
dope.
it transforms into Black Entertainment Television, I don't want it. But I would take that. But
amazing.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I just anything movie, I'm gonna be there for. My biggest hope for that though is like, because we know they're gonna do stuff that's animated. I hope that their version of animated doesn't mean completely divorced from what the vintage figures look like, because I want this stuff to be able to interact with. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to rebuild the entire line just to be able to display them together. You know, like I don't want a Pythona that's like cell shaded and like neon pink, trying to match her up with figures that are all 40 years old in ABS plastic. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're going to get what you're going to get at the end of the day, but I think Super 7 are going to try very hard to make this work and make it profitable and make it good. So I think there's at least that. You've got the kind of like the fallback on that. If it's not, I don't think I think it's almost impossible, unfortunately. Some of the expectations you guys have, I don't think you can do. Like, I mean, even when they had like closer the time and they were doing O-rings, like after the 94, and going into like 97 and stuff like that, like they were literally so close to have just finished O-ring and they weren't getting it exactly right. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like you're saying, like the skin wasn't good, or the heads then later on were too small and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So even that close to having O-ring in the sort of recent history, they haven't been able to do things exactly as they wanted to do them after the fact. So, you're talking about a lot more time has passed. The expectations are through the roof. People not only want it to work with their old figures, but they don't want the thumbs to break. They don't want the penises to snap off. They don't want any of that stuff happening. They don't want the O-rings snapping like after a year or so. So like there's a lot of stuff that I think is, you're just gonna, when we get it, I think it's just gonna be after case of like, this is probably the best they could have done. But we'll see, I guess. And we haven't got that long to wait now. Only like 7 months, 8 months, something like that.
I mean, the fact that you're already seeing listings tells you a lot. They're obviously well underway. Yeah.
Are you excited for the potato leaks when you get the potato camera leaks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What? I know I'm sure we've talked about this before, but why is it that every leak is always taken from a phone from like 1802? Like
it's like they've had to jack into like the Hubble telescope, which is now billions of light years away, just to take an image of some. Yeah, it's like, just how difficult. What phone do you have? Yeah. The Motorola blooming Razor is not taking a good enough picture of it.
The phones are probably being made in the same factory as the figures. We should be getting even better figures. They should have the newest technology.
I suggest a crowd one next year first to get something better than a Nokia 5110 to take pictures with.
Amazing. Okay, well that's O-ring. I think we've talked about that quite a lot actually. But yeah, that's coming. You guys are excited. I'm very happy that it is coming as well. I'm really excited to see what Super 7 do. And already with those like leaked listings, I've got an idea of what to expect. And I think that's like something I was kind of expecting anyway. I was expecting cartoon to be quite high on the agenda. Definitely fill some of those gaps for the core characters, and really excited to see what else they kind of throw in there.
I do just want to close it with this. Anything that we're saying that sounds negative right now is just based out of pure love and enthusiasm. And honestly, bad O-ring is better than no O-ring. So in my mind, they really can't do wrong here. I just want it to be the best it can be. And I'm so excited for it.
Blow ring better than no ring is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
I hope it's the start of cycle number 2 for them, and they can just go back and redo every brand that they've already done in reaction, like all of them.
That'd be cool, actually.
O-ring.
That'd be amazing to see O-ring, like all sorts of different O-ring figures. But yeah, I think it'll be G.I. Joe to start with, and probably for a significant amount of time. Anyway, I'm going to go with my favourite, my kind of most excited that I've been for a long time about computer games with G.I. Joe. And going into 2024, I think I'm really excited to see the Wrath of Cobra video game. This is one that I feel like has been so long in coming, and I don't understand why it's taken so long to get to this point when we've had so many other games that sort of do like, not like old school style crossovers with G.I. Joe, but you've had like strategy games, you've had like card games almost, you've had games where it's like like mobile card games like Battlegrounds, you've had games like Strike, which was almost like a really crap, like, you move left and punch and move right and punch and kick. It was just really crap. But you've had loads of these games that don't really quite scratch the itch. And then this comes along and it's like, yes, finally we're getting a scrolling 2D, loads of personality, loads of fun like artwork, loads of fun characters, and it looks like it's coming from a place of love as well, which is even better. The company like pitched this to Hasbro. If you haven't seen my interview with Kerry Vandenberg, go check it out right now. Stop this episode, delete this episode, get rid of all the editing I've just done, throw it in the bin, and go and watch that interview, because it's really cool. Like, you can tell that the company that are doing it, Kerry and the guys that are involved, you can tell they really are, they love G.I. Joe and they want it to be amazing. So I'm really excited for that. We've had your kind of like, you've had your Operation Blackouts, and we've had what was the one before the Rise of Cobra, and we've had fun SNES games, but it feels like it's been so long since we had like something that was as exciting to me as the arcade or the NES or those kind of games. It's been so long since we've had something that excited me to that level, and I can't wait for this one. It's going to be full of homage, full of fun little nods and stuff. So I'm super excited. I would have put the Snake Eyes game in here, but I think it's got like 2025 or 2026 at this rate. So
well, if it's anything like Transformers Rise / Transformers Activate / Transformers whatever it's called now, that's been 7 years in development.
Transformers Delayed is what they should call it, shouldn't they?
Yeah, and it's gone through 2 different studios, and they had the toys ready 3 years ago and released them this month.
Yeah, nuts, isn't it?
So
yeah, absolutely nuts. So yeah, I hope
that Snake Eyes. I would not be holding your hopes on that Snake Eyes being out anytime in the next 2 years.
I don't think Snake Eyes will the computer game anyway. I don't think that'll be ready for quite a while. But that's why I went with Wrath of Cobra, because I am really excited for this one, and it's so old school and reminds me of the Turtles, and I think that's all I wanted. Just G.I. Joe in that format, nice and easy, lots of fun, and lots of kind of additional elements.
I am down with Streets of Rage G.I. Joe.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. In fact, the Streets of Rage 4 guys that did the most recent Streets of Rage kind of revamp, they were involved in it as well. So yeah, it's got a good team behind it as well, I think, in general. So really, really cool for this one. Are you any of you guys? Are you like excited for Wrath of Cobra? Pat, I know you are.
Yeah, for sure. I was a big fan of the NES G.I. Joe. Every time we talk about any G.I. Joe video game, I get tempted to play that one. So the promise of playing a game with some of the nods in it that it's going to have, judging by some of the Star Brigade vehicles that we saw in there.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to have. It's going to be a game to make fans happy. Is my expectation. It'll be more for us than it will be for, at least I'm guessing, more for us than it will be for the video game player community.
Yeah,
like G.I. Joe players than it is for video game people.
Definitely.
I think. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Adam,
not
just not as much as what?
As O-ring figures.
Oh, right, of course, yeah, of course. There's a lot of O-ring nods in there, though. It'd be funny actually if when you when you beat up a Cobra and they like died, they'd break into pieces and the O-ring would flop out like a coin, and you'd pick it up like a coin, like that. Collecting O-rings, that actually be pretty dope. What about you, Adam?
Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm a massive old school video game fan. I own every licensed NES title except for Stadium Events, which for those that keep count, that's 685 games. So yeah, I'm super, super into this. I hope that it doesn't stay digital only, though. I hope that it gets a release for the Switch through limited run games, just because I want to have a tangible copy.
It's on launch. It's on the Switch.
Oh, but for download or a physical copy?
I don't know. I know it's on Steam and Switch. I know that's on launch day.
Okay.
So
well, either
and
way,
then and then
I would love to own a physical copy of it.
Yeah, and then I think
just that way they can't steal it from me 5 years later, like they did on G.I. Joe Strike. One day I just turned on my phone and it was like, "Sorry, this doesn't work anymore." It's like, I gave you a lot of real world money to play this game. So yeah, I'm very, very much looking forward to it. I think it looks really awesome.
I do hate the fact that a lot of those games, when they come out, like War on Cobra was like this, they're so reliant on other people playing the game, which is weird because like I don't play other people on it. It's like I knock a building down like on a map and I move on to the next thing. So like why does it matter that it's on a server? Like just because they can't get any more money out of it, they don't want to like store it anymore. So it's just they just wipe it clear, and it's just that sucks to me. Especially if like there are so many people that pump microtransactions into those things. And I'm just not one of them. I cannot bring myself to pay for stuff on those games. Like, it just feels like really crap. It's like, I'd rather pay for the app in the first place. And
the whole microtransactions thing is the worst thing to happen to the gaming industry in the last decade.
Yeah.
Just straight up the worst thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's crap.
I agree, but I was powerless to G.I. Joe, but like always. But
I did, however, pay for the privilege to get all the Micro Machine G.I. Joes in the Micro Machines game. Yeah. And then lo and behold, they scrap that as well and wipe everything. It was just, oh, good. That was probably in the end of the day, it's probably about $30 or $40 spent just to get those G.I. Joe vehicles. But, you know, bummer.
Yeah, but yeah, I think this game's going to be awesome. I hope that we can all play it together. Maybe we can do a stream one day or something. I think that'd be awesome.
That would be so much fun. Yeah, I think that again that was a failing, I think, of Operation Blackout, not making it a game that you could actually play, you know, remotely with other pit players. And I think they've probably learned from that mistake. This company probably learned from the other company's mistake on that side of things. And it's quite interesting that Iguana Bee, the company that made Operation Blackout, are getting so much crap at the moment for... Did you see was it the Godzilla game or the King Kong game? Did you guys see that?
It's one of the worst games of the year by all accounts.
I was like, what have they done? There's even a moment in one of the you know, like the animated kind of bumpers between like missions and stuff, where it was just a single frame and they hadn't finished the animation, and it was so bad. Like, it's embarrassing actually looking at the videos and the screenshots of it. Embarrassing. I don't know what the hell they were playing at there, but yeah. Anyway, really looking forward to Wrath of Cobra. Excited for that one. That's my 2024 in a nutshell. And there's lots to look. I mean, the Dragonfly's coming out. I'm really excited for that. There's going to be about another 700 classified figures are going to be released in 2024. So that's fun. Can't wait for all of that.
Obviously Glenda coming as well with Dragonfly.
Oh yeah, Glenda's a great figure. Screw the fandom. I love that figure. Screw everyone who seems to be like 90% of the fandom hate that figure. I love the fact that Glenda's coming. So yeah, brilliant.
I am in the market for a Glenda, folks. Hit me up.
I think Adam will probably send it your way.
You're not gonna have trouble finding one, I don't think.
No. Not if 90% of the fandom hate it. You'll find it quickly, I'd imagine. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. That we've done 2023 and 2024. It's only taken 2 hours. There you go. Let us know in the comments what you guys are looking forward to most in 2024. Happy new bloody year, everybody. That to you guys, not just everyone that's watching. I can't see what you. I thought you had an action figure on screen for a second because I wasn't looking at the video. I thought you were kind of doing like Apsara and McLeod are dancing or something.
This is Party Chicken. I have a real thing for crab figures, you know. It's
epic, absolutely amazing. Yeah. Happy New Year, guys. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I know this is technically December the 27th, but for people watching it's the 1st, so Happy New Year. Hope how was your 2023 in general? Pat, how was yours overall?
It was really bad, to be honest.
Terrible.
like record bad year. Yeah.
Burn it to the ground. Adam, are you burning it or are you keeping it?
Oh, definitely burning. Probably the second worst year of my life. Yo, Joe. Anyway.
Paddy, what about you, mate?
Fucking sucked.
Yeah, it was a rough one, wasn't it? I'm gonna go ahead and say it was mid for me. Like, buying a house is quite important, so I'm gonna go with that was a good thing. But the rest of it, it's been a bit of a slog. So we hope you've had a better year than we have, guys, watching, and we hope you have an awesome 2024, and I hope we all have a better 2024 as well. Much love to everyone, guys. Thanks for joining me. Really appreciate it, Pat. Much appreciated as always, buddy.
Thanks as always.
Thank you, Adam. Great to see you again, man.
Likewise, it's been a good time. Let's do it again in 2025.
Yeah, see you in 2025. And Paddy, buddy, thanks very much again, my man.
Love you all. See you in 2024.
Yep, see you. Technically you will do, because it's still 2023 technically. That brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for joining us for the Full Force Monthly. Happy bloody New Year. Massive thank you to the awesome co-hosts Paddy Lennon, Adam Riches, Patrick Stewart. See you next month, because we're starting the Full Force Monthly again. Hope you're aware of that, Pat. Me, you, and I guess Justin, if he ever turns up.
Sounds good.
Okay, good. You know what to do.
Go-rings all the time.
Oh, God, do we have to? After 3, stay fresh cheese bags, of course.
We're going to show Brian Flynn how it's done on 3, guys.
Oh, okay, yeah. First of all, we've got stay fresh cheese bags, and then after 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Force! Amazing. Have you tried Hoarder yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with Hoarder. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on X, formerly Twitter, @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page, facebook.com/TheFullForce. We've also added a brand new Instagram, so check us out there as well @The Full Force Podcast, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.